did you end up in the ceramics program?
Yeah, so I just happened to stumble into the studio one day because my friend was working in there and I was really intrigued, and I asked Professor Tom, I said, what's going on in here? What's the deal? And he showed me around the studio and explained everything to me. And now here I am, 3 semesters in.
What's your favorite thing about being in the ceramics studio?
My favorite part about being in the ceramic studio is definitely the community that's been cultivated there. You know, being a third-year student compared to people who've taken this class for literal decades can feel somewhat intimidating, but I really appreciate how everyone in there really helps each other out. Like, there's no anybody on your own. You're not just flailing trying to figure everything out. Like, you have people coming over being like, hey, what are you doing? What are you working on? You know, here's this idea. And it really helps not just yourself, but also you're communicating with other people and communicating your ideas and then growing them from there, which is just super cool.
This program has also helped me professionally. I am a school teacher. I've taught high school and elementary in the county. And the engineering of creating ceramics has really helped me understand the importance of using creativity and also using project-based learning.
I actually started taking ceramics when I was a student at Piedmont, and I just see, my time here as not only, training me to be a ceramic artist, but also, a real big part of my education in my life. Because honestly, until, I stepped into that studio, I just hadn't been that interested in school. It was in that studio where I learned that I was actually a kinesthetic learner, and that shaped my life in a major way.
I'm Daisy. I am a current UVA student studying studio art, finishing a degree that I dropped out of maybe over 10 years ago. And the only reason I'm there is because I became a Piedmont student. And the only reason I became a Piedmont student is because I wanted to take a ceramics class.
I've subsequently gone on to teach primarily ceramics. I'm a full-time teacher of ceramics at St. Anne's Belfield School in the upper school. And I run a full studio there. And I could not have done it without my classes here at PVCC and without Tom's incredible knowledge, because it's everything. It's from obviously knowing how to do the ceramics, but it's also the glaze studio, the recycling, the entire program. And my story is not just a one and done story. There's so many individuals who Tom has introduced ceramics to. There's so many professional artists that are working, and I work professionally as well in the area because of Tom. And then he's also supported so many of the teachers in this area, either through training or through just supporting them in information to help them with their studios. So what starts here has an incredible ripple effect in the community and in our school systems. And it's very difficult to think about this program not being the program that it is right now, which I think is due in large part to the fact that it is an individual who has an MFA and who is here full time and runs the program. I think it would be difficult to have it work in the same way with adjunct faculty. And so it's really been literally life-changing for me, Tom and the studio and the community here. And I will say too, as a teacher of secondary high school students, what I've noticed in the last 10 years, really since the digital world has sort of exploded, is that it is the one space where students connect tactilely with creating things. It has done a huge amount, I think, for students who can work in ceramics for mental health, for giving them a space to be creative and to make and to have a break from all of the other demands of their academic schedule, but also just the digital aspects of our lives. So I look to ceramics as not just an amazing place to be creative, but a space for students to engage with a different part of their brain, a different part of their life, And I think it's vitally important here at the community college where students often have jobs, they've got sometimes families, they're juggling lots of things, and it's a space where they can let their mind access something different.
When we moved here from New York City, and when people heard that we were coming to Charlottesville, what they told us was, oh, you have to go to PVCC.
Value of learning in an educational setting, I don't think should be under emphasized, because this is a program. This is something that Tom has built over his time here, and for those of us that come back again and again, it's not just coming and taking the same class or just coming and having access to clay. We're coming to learn from Tom. The resources that are here, I think, are truly exceptional. And it's something very distinguishing, something that, there are very few places that have something like this, and it should be valued. One of the other things that is really impressive, and again, having over 20 years of experience with this program, is seeing the different types of students that have come through. There are students who are first year undergraduates here, some of whom are playing with clay for the first time, and how amazing it is to watch them discover it. And there's some people in our class right now who I think really could be successful as artists.
I teach at the medical school at UVA, and I oversee a program that lasts through the 4 years of the medical school. And over the time that I've been there, we've had different ways of organizing it, where we've had different people come in to do different pieces versus somebody to really oversee the whole program. And there is such a difference when you have somebody overseeing the whole program, because you can develop things in a developmental way. You can really learn how people themselves learn and help them progress in their own style over time, which you really can't get if you have people coming in just for a semester or a class.
Having one single professor in the lab has been really beneficial, because you have one person who has central knowledge of everything, all the going onings, all the runnings in the studio. This machine works better than this one, or here's this method that might work better for our glazes that we have. So by having one professor on the lab and on campus, it allows you to have one person with a really detailed knowledge of the inner workings of the studio, instead of having to figure out, oh, what about this one, or what about this, and not knowing.